The knock on my door came like a warning siren. I had a gut feeling something was off. When I opened it, there was Karen, my neighbor, self-proclaimed property expert, and the kind of person whose smile always carried a secret agenda. "You need to evict him," she said, walking in without waiting for an invitation. Her voice was sharp, precise, the kind that made your stomach twist. "Excuse me?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "My tenant," she clarified, pointing toward the apartment next door. "He's living there illegally. You're letting him squat, and it's against the law. I've already spoken to the city. You could get in trouble." I blinked, caught off guard. "Karen, that's not true." "He signed a legitimate lease. I have all the documents. You must be mistaken." Karen laughed, a brittle sound that sent a chill down my spine. "Mistaken? Sweetheart, I'm never mistaken. You better handle this before it blows up in your face." I felt a wave of anger rising, but I forced myself to stay calm. She thrived on tension, on intimidation, and I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction. "Listen," I said, steadying my voice. "I understand your concerns, but I've got the original deed. I know my tenant is legitimate. If you have proof otherwise, show me. Otherwise, let's deal with this properly." Karen's eyes narrowed. "You always think you're one step ahead, don't you? One slip and the city comes down on you. You could lose everything." I wanted to scream, storm out, slam the door, but I held myself back. There was a storm brewing, yes, but I wasn't the one about to get drenched. That night, I sat at my kitchen table. Papers spread across every inch, flipping through the original deed, the lease agreements, signed receipts, every document meticulously kept. My hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the tension that comes when someone threatens what you've worked for, what you care about. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was a shark in a pond full of unsuspecting fish. She had connections, influence, and a reputation for bulldozing anyone who crossed her. But I had the truth, and truth is sharper than any threat. By morning, I had a plan. I knew Karen would push, maybe even drag this to court or report to the city. But I was ready. I had the original deed, every legal document meticulously organized, and most importantly, I had integrity. When Karen showed up the next morning, that smug grin plastered on her face, I met it with calm eyes. The battle had begun, but this time I wasn't cornered. This time I had the upper hand, and she didn't even know it yet. Karen's smug grin didn't falter when she saw me standing at the door that morning. Well, still here." "I thought you'd have made a mistake by now," she said, arms crossed, like a queen surveying her kingdom. "I'm still here," I replied evenly, holding her gaze. "And I plan to stay." Her lips curved into a cold smirk. "You know, most people fold when the city sends a notice. It's only a matter of time." I shook my head, letting my confidence show. "The city won't send a notice because there's nothing wrong. I have the original deed right here." I waved a thick folder, full of documents in her face. Karen's smirk faltered for a split second. Enough for me to see the slightest flicker of uncertainty. "A deed? Let me see it." I opened the folder and laid the papers on the table. Every line, every signature, every stamp was in order. I could feel the power shift slightly, like the air itself had recognized the change. You have the original?" she stammered, trying to mask it with a laugh. "Well, maybe there's been a mistake." "Not a mistake," I said firmly. "Everything's legitimate. My tenant signed the lease, I have full legal ownership, and all your claims are baseless." Karen's eyes flashed with anger. "You think this makes you untouchable? You think you can just throw your papers around and scare me off?" "No," I said, my voice calm but sharp. "I don't need to scare you. The truth does that on its own." She narrowed her eyes and leaned closer. "You're lucky, you know. One wrong move and—" I cut her off. "One wrong move. The only wrong move here would be me ignoring the truth and letting you intimidate someone else." For a moment, Karen froze, and I realized something. She wasn't used to being challenged, let alone by someone who wasn't afraid. The power in the room had shifted, and she knew it. The next hour was a tense standoff. Karen tried every tactic, threats, intimidation, even appeals to fear, but I stayed firm. Every time she tried to twist the story, I pulled out the deed, the lease, the receipts. Each document was like a small hammer knocking down her lies. Finally, she threw her hands up, frustrated. "Fine, keep your tenant, but this isn't over." I nodded, keeping my composure. "It's over when the truth wins." And today, it did. That night, I sat back and reflected. The battle had been exhausting, yes, but it was also a lesson. Power is not about threats or connections. Power is about knowing your truth and standing by it, even when someone tries to shake your world. And in that quiet moment, I realized something deeper. Courage isn't just about facing enemies. It's about protecting what's right, even when the storm is fierce. The following morning, the apartment next door was quiet. My tenant, Jake, knocked on my door with a mix of relief and lingering fear in his eyes. "Hey, I just wanted to—" "Thank you," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I didn't know what I'd do if she forced me out. I smiled gently. "You don't have to thank me, Jake. You signed a legitimate lease. I just made sure the truth got the attention it deserved." Jake's eyes filled with tears. I was scared. She has connections. She could make life impossible. I didn't know anyone would stand up for me. "You're not alone," I said firmly. "Sometimes standing up is the hardest part, but it's the only way to protect what's right." As we talked, I realized something profound. This wasn't just about a deed or a lease. It was about courage, integrity, and refusing to let someone bully others into fear. Karen had tried to intimidate us, to make the rules bend in her favor, but she underestimated one thing: the power of truth. Later that afternoon, I saw Karen pacing in her yard, muttering under her breath. She looked defeated, but there was a fire in her eyes. I knew she'd be back. She always found another way to fight. But this time I felt ready. I had learned a lesson she could never teach. No one can take what is rightfully yours if you stand firm, armed with honesty and evidence. Jake came by again, holding a cup of coffee. "I just wanted to say, your courage, it means a lot. I'm going to make sure I follow the rules, and I hope others see that standing up matters." I nodded. "Exactly. Don't wait for someone to protect you. Learn to protect what's yours, and don't back down when someone tries to twist the truth." That night I reflected on the entire ordeal. Fear can be paralyzing, but courage is contagious. When you face threats with calm, evidence, and integrity, the world can't bend you to someone else's will. And even when the storm seems overwhelming, the truth always shines through. Karen might try again, and the city might throw other challenges our way. But now I knew something unshakable. I could face anything. Not because I had the upper hand in money or influence, but because I had justice on my side, and sometimes that's stronger than anything else. So here's the takeaway. Protect what's yours. Stand up for what's right. Don't let fear or bullies dictate your life. And never, ever underestimate the power of truth. Because when truth meets courage, even the fiercest storms break apart. If this story taught you anything, let it be this. Never let fear or bullies control your life. Stand up for what's right, protect what belongs to you, and always trust the power of truth. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced someone trying to take what's yours? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to be brave. And don't forget to like, share, and follow so we can tackle more stories of courage together. Remember, courage isn't just a word, it's an action.